Hello, I'm Chris Williams from Read Comics, They're Bad For You, the name of my YouTube channel. Or if you're watching this on BitChute or Library, the name of my channels on those two websites is Comic Freak. Hiya folks, we're going to be talking about how Star Trek's Picard's threat is the same as Discovery's Seasons 2. Yeah, they're talking about how the artificial intelligence threat in Picard is basically the same thing as the artificial beings that wipe out all life in Discovery Season 3. We're just going to look at some of this article as I explain to you what's going on. Section 31's Control tried to kill all life in Star Trek Discovery. Yeah. Apparently, Section 31 created a computer called Control that was supposed to help them against the next Klingon War, but instead of basically helping them, it turned rogue when it became self-aware and decided all life was the problem and will commence to exterminate everything in the universe that is organic. So you can see right off here, it's similar to what's happening in Star Trek Picard with basically synthetics basically being treated as third-class citizens. So yeah, giving the backstory of why this artificial being wants to destroy all life is that all artificial life forms are just mistreated by organics. They insist on doing world politics and minority analogs in Star Trek, even though it's a future where everything's basically peaceful and hopeful. Well, currently on Star Trek Picard, the Zat Vosh, who have a basic clandestine relationship with Starfleet and basically are behind the fact that synthetic beings are treated as third-class citizens, they have a deep fear of synthetic beings and the damage that synthetic beings can and will do to organic life if they were to get out of control. They do this because they wish to live and keep their race safe. But the way it's been presented here is that what they're doing to the synthetics is evil. Even though the Zat Vosh as well as the Romulans have a prophecy that someone, a machine called Soji, will cause all synthetics to rise up and destroy all organic life. The Romulans fear synthetics because in some part of their past apparently they had trouble with them. And they're also thought to be the creators of the Borg, which is very bad and very canon-breaking because the Borg came from outside of the sector of space where the Romulans and Starfleet exist. Is Star Trek Picard a sequel to Discovery Season 2 because of the events in Discovery Season 2 of, the Discovery crew going to further into the future beyond Star Trek Picard and basically trying to reestablish Starfleet in a universe basically devastated by synthetic life forms? Well, this and the fact that Star Trek Picard basically have similar themes think that maybe Star Trek Picard is actually a sequel to what happened in Discovery Season 2. And, I really hope not, because you don't need all these stories basically working off each other, especially since no one is actually all that happy to see these stories at all. Basically, no one is enjoying what Discovery has done, and basically including it in Star Trek Picard is another way to basically kill that show. Even though technically they set, Star Trek Picard 142 years into the future, outside of all known Star Trek properties, and stuff, so that it wouldn't basically be stepping on anyone's feet. They have a completely open playground in Star Trek Picard to write anything they want, but basically they're using it to tell this story that no one is actually enjoying. They insist on basically making them, both series play back-to-back to each other, probably because they hope that it'll bring in fans, if there are any of these series, but no. You have an open playground with one series and another playground with another. You shouldn't have the stories basically intermingle. It also makes no sense. So, you have this control that was set up by Starfleet to basically help against the war against the Klingons, or a potential one, and decides to wipe out all life. Then you have the daughter of Data, who basically is going to possibly be this guy who, or girl, I guess, because she is an artificial being, but she has an organic body, which is female, who will wreak unholy havoc upon all organic life in the galaxy. But that's the thing. No one is enjoying the story. It's far too similar to, Terminator, as well as the plot of Mass Effect. You have time travel, traveling to the future, where it's basically ruled by machines. You have the synthetics, like pretty much the ones from Mass Effect, basically being used as slave labor, much like the Geeth from Mass Effect. I don't see much difference. You're telling the same story from a video game, but badly, which the video game itself at the very end basically did as well, but are you also going to have all organic life basically become partially mechanical at the end of this story arc? Because if you do, I would say you're killing Star Trek well, much like BioWare killed the fandom with the end of Mass Effect 3 as well as Mass Effect Andromeda by putting these agenda politics in there, but also giving us a story that no one wants to see, something that's been done but only better by other people. And you're basically including time travel too. This feels like a plot from a bad sci-fi film, which you've turned Star Trek in, which is not what it's supposed to be. Star Trek is one of the preeminent sci-fi franchises, and you have done nothing but insult the great creators who have been working on this series for decades. Gene Roddenberry, the producer of the original Star Trek series from the 60s, would basically look at this and cry for what you've done to his creation. Not to mention how completely unimaginative it is. Machines once more rising up and taking over the entire galaxy. As well as the fact that Romulans are being somehow responsible for the Borg, even though, as I said, the Romulans only live in the sector of space where Starfleet is, which is thousands and billions of miles from where Q threw the crew of the Star Trek The Next Generation's ship so they could meet the Borg. There's no way they could be responsible for them, and it's stupid. Just because you need to connect everything together, but you don't actually care about the actual lore of the original series that came before you. So you end up making up this complete tripe of a show that is or has nothing to do with anything that came before, because you will only do so because you don't care about the original canon. Well, if you like this video, subscribe. Make sure you're still subscribed because YouTube is going around unsubscribing people. So make sure you're still subscribed. If you're watching my videos but you're not subscribed, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Read comics that are bad for you. Then go over to BitChute and Library and subscribe to my channels on those two websites. They're both named Comic Freak. Hit that bell for notifications. Hit that like button and leave some comments down below. And if you could you also please share this video? Share it on Twitter, share it on Reddit, and share it on Facebook. Share it anywhere you think it'll do the most good, because YouTube is not going around promoting their own YouTube creators. So please share this video. Now listen closely. It's that time of the day again. Keep checking back in all my future videos for more information on my own upcoming independent comic book scumdogs. I'm Chris Williams, and I'll be back again tomorrow with another video or review.